I was just lamenting somebody that is on my staff sold dogs. See, I feel sorry for dogs, and when I first made a bunch of money many years ago, I'm not necessarily proud of this, but it's the truth. I'm a full disclosure guy. I left all my money to the prevention for cruelty to animals. Every penny. That was about 50 million. Millions. Everybody. No relatives, no kid. To the prevention for cruelty to animals. And now the nuns, priests, then dogs. No, excuse me, dogs, nuns, priests, then the rest of you is kind of my priority list. So, any questions? Today's the only day we don't have. Yes, sir.
Earlier you discussed about cybersecurity. Are you going to talk on that?
Yes, I am. I'm going to talk in some depth about it. Oops. Oh yeah, shit. I got to catch up on my pills this morning for this afternoon. Yeah, I will talk about as we showed the charts of the 18 leading industries that have got a benefit of the Trump bump, and the 2 of the top 20, excuse me, that have decreased in value. We're going to talk in depth about that, and we'll pick out not a company from each of the groups, but maybe 5 or 6 of the companies. Some of the naturals, aerospace, construction, stuff like that, as I talked about, which should be an engineer's wet dream. I mean, for the first time in our lives, I'm exaggerating. For the first time in our lives, we've got something that the engineering degree people can get their teeth into, because I mean, literally every place you look. Now, when I first got out of school these many decades ago, university, after flunking out 3 times, it's funny, you look at my, on the LinkedIn, for those of you that are expert on my LinkedIn, it goes from 1963 to 1971, university, and then degree. And so you think, that's 8 years. I was on the 8-year program. I was on the fast track, you know. I was gone 4.5 years, military, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, when I came back, computer science was just getting going. It was just that wasn't hot then, but it was just getting rolling, where I'm not sure you could get a degree other than at MIT and Stanford and a few other places in computer science. And then it was computer science engineering, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, now all that is, everybody knows about that stuff. So to answer your question, the answer is yes. But until you figure out for yourselves, you know, as I said last night, most of the kids that come here don't really have a firm idea of what they want to do. Some people think they do. Some people, by accident, by serendipity, have a model that actually fucking works. But that's normally, or they're in an area that works. Let me rephrase that. They don't have a model that works. Because if they had a model that worked, kids, you wouldn't be here. If you were making $3 or $4 million a year, although we have had people here that are making $3 or $4 million a year, they're an anomaly. One of my favorites, and Dr. Joe, if you're watching, he's a vascular surgeon from Southern California. He had the world by the ass. He still does, but he, you know, we've had several surgeons, but you know, there's got to be more than making a lot of money, being young and single, and getting more ass than a toilet seat at a bus station. There must be more than that, he thought. Sounds pretty good, though, doesn't it? And so we're rolling on medical centers, surgical medical centers. But for the most part, if your model worked, you wouldn't be here. Is the simple. Normally, you come, even if your model works, you come, you don't come when it's going like this, the hockey stick. You come when it's, with the greatest respect for the one woman in the crowd, when it's starting to roll over like your partner, you know. Now, every guy in this room can relate to that. And we're not going to ask her if she could relate to it or not. But she's got the proverbial, she looks down, you know. I thought that was all a myth. I really did. Anyway, I don't want to, on YouTube, my kids watch this from time to time, so it's not a myth, kids, it's all right. And you all look like me, so you don't have to think it's the milkman or mailman syndrome, which we have a few in this room. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not what happens to us in life, kids. It's how we react to what happens to us. And of course, my 98-year-old aunt, who passed away last year, God love her, when I came, she said, at 98, I don't even know we're black. Because we did this DNA stuff, and Sally and I have gone back and done this DNA stuff. And I don't mean the black like from Ethiopia, that everybody is, you know, from the first people that crawled on the earth as cavemen. I mean black, brother black. I am 6.6. And Sally is Viking. 100%. She doesn't have any shades of anything. And to look at her, and as the Dutch, when we go to Scandinavian countries, when we go to the Netherlands, they all think, they start rattling onto her in their native language because she's blonde, blue-eyed. But I'm a throwback. I'm Hispanic, blue-eyed. I'm a güero. For those that speak Spanish, they know what that means. But yeah, but I happen to look just like my dad. Of course, he's 90 there, but when we look alike, and he's blue-eyed. He's also a güero. He took a lot of shit in East LA back in the 30s because he was a güero, because it wasn't vogue to be. That was in the era of the zoot suit. Now, I'm not going to go through all that zoot suit history, but that was the era of the zoot suit. And okay, now we practice the best practices. I only teach you, I implore you, I beg you, and I give you the stuff that fucking works. Not the stuff that works a little, but works really well. And I didn't think of this about 5-6 years ago. The kids, you in the groups, said, well, I bet you if I do it like I did, we've had some really rocket scientists come through here, got straight A's, 100%, never had nothing but an A, perfect paper their whole lives, that kind of. I'll do it like I studied when I went to university. And they pin the shit up on the walls and they live. Now, several of the wives or the significant others don't like their houses looking like this. You know, you go into the kitchen and it looks like this. So they pin, you're going to get all the slides. Okay? So what they do is they print them off. Now, some of them do it in color, some of them do it in black and white. Some of them do it, the ones that they feel are more important to them. The ones that, to me, it's the ones that you have the most problem with. But one of the things that we're going to talk about in the next few days is, I'm not going to try to make your weakest links stronger. I'm going to make your strong links stronger. Because you don't have to get, other than communication skill, that's the only weak link that I work on. And, the best of the best do this. And I have gotten more than one email from a significant other, or for some of the kids that live at home. The parents don't like this shit. And now if it's their own little room, that's fine. This is another one. Now, this kid, he's got more problems than that. He should have a lot more of those goddamn things up on the ceiling. And then he's got his map of the world he's going to dominate in North and South America. All this shit works. The kid that won the 5th Super Bowl here recently with the New England, he has been visualizing since he's 5-6 years old, throwing a pass in overtime, although this was the first overtime victory for the Super Bowl. Since he's 5-6 years old, winning the Super Bowl in overtime with a pass. He's been visualizing that. Finally happened after 5 Super Bowls. Now, you hang out with monkeys, your life becomes a circus. For the most part, you are hanging, chilling with monkeys. If you go to a sports bar, And you sit, sports bars would have all the TVs of football, basketball, that shit, you know. And you sit around drinking, belching, farting with your mates. That's where you're going to be 20 years from now. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Just as you're a product of the people that you were around, exposed to the most growing up. Normally that's a mom, a dad, a grandparent, and an older sibling, right? Now, I asked you about your siblings in the paperwork, right? Now, guys and ma'am, none of you were describing Einstein's Nobel laureates, Olympic athletes for your brothers and sisters. Did I miss one? So if older brothers and sisters aren't Olympians, Nobel laureates, there's not much chance you're going to be one. Occasionally there's an anomaly, a statistical anomaly. Like occasionally, like that guy that says he's not black, he thinks he's a statistical anomaly, that he's a throwback from 25,000 years ago. Now we both know he's not. He's the milkman's kid. Yet nobody in his whole 35 years of life told him that. They listened to, can you imagine sitting at a dinner table listening to that shit, he's a statistical anomaly? And not one goddamn person told him, no, you're just a fucking milkman's kid, you fucking... Why did they do that to him? Why? I'm asking you.
Because they were being politically correct.
Correct! And politically correctness and this will get you this. Okay, these are 5 or 6 different stories of commitment. They're too long. I'm going to tell them after we get off of YouTube. So we'll come back to this. But I want to tell this one now. I gave a seminar. This is when I gave seminars out in the real world at the airport about 20 years ago, more or less. And we had some guys, and we had about 250 people in the audience. And a lady, a burqa lady, a Muslim lady, came in late. And some of the guys in the front row were being smart asses and, you know, can't you get here on time, lady, yada, yada, yada. So during the break, she comes up to me and she says, excuse me, Mr. Peña, but can I address the class after the break? And I go, for what? Yeah, I said first yes, but for what? I want to apologize and explain why I'm late. I was late. No, you don't have to do that. Fuck those guys. You don't have to do anything. No, I really would like to. So after the break, everybody's sitting down, and I said, okay, come on up, ma'am. And this is a Muslim lady, full burqa kit, the full 9 yards, the heavy burqa, not the light shit-ass burqa, but the heavy burqa. Just a slit across there, and she gets up and extremely articulate. Later I find out she's a solicitor. She's a lawyer, a lady lawyer. And she explains to the guys in the audience, and she walks kind of right up, and they're right sitting there, that I apologize for being 11 minutes late this morning, but 5 hours and 15 minutes before I had given birth, she had a kid. 5 hours before that morning. And they wouldn't release her from the hospital. Now just think of that. If men had to have kids, there'd be about 60,000 people on the planet. Not 7-point-something billion. And as again, the closest I came to it was epidural from when they froze my bottom half. So on that happy note, goodbye, kids. See you later, YouTubers.